The Apex Council chamber stretched beyond comprehension, its crystalline walls reflecting light from a dozen dying stars. Cora stood at the center, her worn combat boots leaving scuff marks on the pristine floor, a deliberate choice. Around her, the representatives of 17 galactic civilizations watched with eyes both biological and synthetic, their collective consciousness humming with barely concealed contempt. The Vrix ambassador spoke first, its voice resonating through translation matrices embedded in the air itself. Human. Your species petitions for membership in the galactic apex. Yet you bring no achievements worthy of consideration, no technological marvels, no philosophical enlightenment, no military victories of note. Cora smiled, the expression never reaching her eyes. We've won every war we've ever fought. A ripple of amusement passed through the assembly. The Kethran delegate, a being of pure energy contained within magnetic fields, pulsed with mockery. Your species has existed for mere millennia. You have fought primitive conflicts on a single world. We have waged wars across galaxies, human. Wars that lasted longer than your entire recorded history. Then you understand war, Cora replied, her voice steady. We understand what you cannot. The Vrix leaned forward, its 6 arms folding in a gesture of dismissal. War is mathematics. Resources multiplied by technology divided by casualties. It is logistics, supply chains, fleet movements coordinated across light years. Tell us, human, what do you understand of such things? Cora reached into her jacket and withdrew a small battered data chip. The security systems in the chamber screamed warnings, but she held it up regardless. This contains the complete military history of humanity. Every war, every battle, every soldier who ever lived and died in conflict. May I? The Apex Prime, a being whose species had achieved transcendence 30,000 years ago, gestured permission. The data flooded into the chamber's systems, and suddenly the air filled with holographic images. Ancient warriors with bronze swords, medieval knights, soldiers in trenches, pilots in cockpits, and finally, the sprawl of humanity's first interstellar conflicts. War, Cora began, walking through the ghostly projections, is not mathematics to us. It's not about numbers or logistics, though we've mastered those too. War for humanity is personal. She stopped at an image of a man in early 21st century military fatigues. This is Adam Chen. He was nobody important by your standards. A communications specialist in the Terran Defense Force. When the Zaltoth invaded our outer colonies, he was stationed on Kepler 442b with a garrison of 300 soldiers. The Kethran pulsed with impatience. A single battle. This is your evidence of military prowess? Let me finish. Cora's voice hardened. The Zaltoth brought 4 battlecruisers and 10,000 ground troops. They had superior numbers, superior technology, superior everything. They gave the colony 1 hour to surrender. She manipulated the hologram, and the scene shifted to show a small communications bunker. Inside, Adam sat at his console, his hand steady despite the thunder of orbital bombardment outside. Adam sent a message that day. Not to Earth, not to the defense fleet, they were weeks away. He sent it to the Zaltoth commander directly. Do you know what he said? Silence filled the chamber. He said, "You'll have to come down here and take it." The Vrix ambassador's translator carried a note of confusion. Foolishness, bravado, what did it accomplish? Cora's smile returned, sharp as broken glass. It bought time. While the Zaltoth prepared for ground assault, Adam rewired the colony's fusion reactor. Not to explode, that would have been too quick. He turned it into a directional weapon, channeling the output through the colony's communications array. The hologram showed the battle that followed, 300 humans against 10,000 aliens. The colony burned. The soldiers fell one by one. And at the center of it all, Adam remained at his post adjusting frequencies, calculating trajectories, buying seconds with his life. When the Zaltoth finally breached the bunker, Adam was still alive, barely. He triggered the reactor with his last breath. Cora paused. The communications array didn't just fire at the ground forces. Adam had calculated the orbital positions of all 4 battlecruisers. The beam punched through the atmosphere and carved through their hulls like they were paper. She looked around the chamber, meeting each delegate's gaze. 4 battlecruisers destroyed, 10,000 soldiers dead, all because one human decided that surrender wasn't an option. Not because of orders. Not because of mathematics. Because Adam personally refused to let the people he'd sworn to protect die without taking their enemies with them. The Apex Prime spoke for the first time, its voice like planets grinding together. "One soldier. But you had 300 in that garrison." "We did," Cora acknowledged. "And every single one of them made the same choice Adam did. That's what you don't understand about human warfare. You calculate odds and resources. We calculate will. You ask how many humans it takes to win a war." She gestured at the hologram of Adam, frozen in his final moment, hand reaching for the trigger that would turn a colony into a funeral pyre. "It takes one. One human who decides that the enemy will not pass. One who looks at impossible odds and says no. Because once one of us makes that choice, the rest of us fall in line behind them. We don't fight wars with fleets and armies. Those are just the tools. We fight with the accumulated stubbornness of every human who ever lived and refused to quit, when any rational being would have surrendered." The chamber fell silent. The representatives of the galactic apex, species that had conquered stars and transcended mortality, looked at this small, scarred human and saw something they had forgotten existed. The Vrix ambassador's voice carried a new note when it spoke. "The Zaltoth Empire fell 6 months after Kepler 442b. They never recovered from losing those battle cruisers." "No," Cora confirmed. "They didn't. Because after Adam, they understood what we all know. You can't win a war against humanity by counting soldiers. You'd have to kill every last one of us, because any one of us might be the one who decides to make you pay for trying." The Apex Prime rose, and the chamber trembled with the movement. "Humanity's petition is accepted. Welcome to the Galactic Apex, Cora of Earth. We have much to learn from your kind." As Cora left the chamber, she allowed herself one genuine smile. Behind her, 17 civilizations began to recalculate what they thought they knew about war, while the ghost of Adam Chen smiled from his holographic grave, his message echoing across the stars. "You'll have to come down here and take it," and in the end, nobody ever did.